Welcome back. Okay, this week I wanted to bring some advanced run form tips to you. So, my prior video, running faster on the same fitness, was kind of the big money here. Hands up, elbows driving back, keep the spine tall, and then tip your angle of attack by moving the chin slightly down and moving the gaze from the horizon down a little bit. You can pull that video up if you want to hear that. Now, those tips are worth minutes per hour. It's big gains that you can get, particularly if you're a marathon runner or an Ironman athlete. And I hope you listen to that one. However, as you get faster and move up the field, placings are decided by seconds per hour. So what I wanted to do was share a couple more tips with you. And these things are easy to spot now that we all have phones capable of shooting a little bit of slow motion video. And you can shoot the video either with the athlete running straight towards you, and a 100-meter stretch on a track would be a good one. And you can also have a look on the treadmill, particularly shooting some video from behind, get the whole body in the picture, and then just look at it on a slow replay afterwards to kind of see what's going on. And what I recommend you look for are the tips we're going to run through now. So first up, where do we want to go? We want to go forward. And last time I talked about that side video look, seeing if you're oscillating, if you're spending energy going up and down, because that energy would be better spent moving forward. So here's another look, a different vector, at my younger self running. And what Bobby McGee, is you can see the line goes down, cuts my head in half, and then at the point of foot strike, we want to look what my body's up to. Cross my knees, where my foot is relative to my midpoint, what my shoulders are doing. And what you are going to see if you have an issue is that you're going to be rocking with each foot strike. And that energy, you're not going to see it in the up and down as much, but from head on or from behind, you're going to see this doot, 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 doot. And this is going to feel really comfortable. It's your standard gait. And you're going to have comfort in this gait, even though you're wasting energy and it's costing you time to the finish line. Speaking from experience there, I didn't really want to change this, but if you want those last few placings, or you actually want to win a race, you need to be willing to make these changes that are difficult and take yourself out of your comfort zone. And quite often we think taking ourselves out of our comfort zone is about enduring pain, but really it's more about enduring change in how you approach your training and change in your technique. These are issues that can make an athlete very uncomfortable, but it's where you can get some free speed because you're not limited by, say, your genetic ability or your VO2 max or your pace at threshold, however you want to look at it. You're merely limited by your willingness to get more efficient in how you move. So let's give you a little tip on how I would go about correcting myself. So you'll see if you look in between my elbows on the picture, Bobby drew little red lines. And what was happening was, and it's really common, I was driving out instead of driving back. So the simple correction there is to get the elbow driving back rather than driving out. The other thing to look for if you're driving out, when the arm is doing the recovery, it'll cross the center line. But you'll see I'm not crossing the center line, but I'm driving out, and that's part of what's creating the sway. At pace, when you come up on the foot, particularly with these new shoes, you'll feel yourself coming forward on the shoe. And in that first video, I recommended you didn't think about what was going on below your waist. But at this advanced level, I recommend that in addition to thinking about that elbow driving back, you think about the big toe pushing forward. And those are the two things that you're going to be working on to correct this. The other point, and it's one you'll notice, particularly if you have a tendency for your foot to clip your ankle on the way through on the recovery. That's something that I've had pretty much my whole running career when I get tired and I'm starting to swing. And you can see the reason why in that picture with that foot crossing the center line. So the correction is going to feel like I'm widening my stance a little bit, but really what I'm doing is I'm avoiding my legs cutting X's, and I'm avoiding this crossover effect, which is then kind of sending me, I'm kind of sashaying down the road when I'm doing it, because I'm creating all this movement, both with my elbows and also with where my foot's pacing. So let's review those three. Elbow drives back, not out, at pace. As my foot is coming forward in the shoe, I'm driving off the big toe, and that'll be moving myself forward. And then the final tip there is the sensation will be a slightly wider stance. And those three, if you try them, I think you'll be able to drive yourself forward. And a great place to look at these tips in action is video footage of elite runners or elite triathletes, particularly the ones that appear very vertical and very stable when they're running. You'll be able to see all these points in them. And I found having a visual image of where I wanted to get to, combined with video footage of myself in terms of where I'm at, how I'm doing, enabled me to close that gap and improve my running economy. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about chin down, because it's a bit more subtle than what I said in the first video. So the first video we talked about chin down, and the idea was we were going to tip the head, and that was going to shift the angle of attack for the runner. Now, if you're able to maintain this length in the spine, another way to achieve the same thing rather than moving the head is it's a slight movement, a tipping of the rib cage ever so slightly, and it's going to be an even smaller move than what you're doing with your chin down, because you're going to be moving more mass. And the sensation is almost like a tightening of the abdominal muscles, the low abdominals, and it's going to tip that whole upper body. You'll often see a curve, and if that curve is causing you to lift yourself up instead of move yourself forward, you can correct the curve with a slight tense toning, tightening of that lower abdominal. So I just wanted to pass that tip on to you as well. But the key fix at the beginning is really just get those elbows driving back, tip the chin a little bit, and you're going to get almost all the gains from that. So I hope this helps you with your running, and I'll see you back next time.